Welcome to Kim's Crafting Corner. I'm your host, Kim Thompson-Pinder, founder of RTI Crafts. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make these pretty rolled flowers. And they're great for lots of purposes. You can put them in shadow boxes. You can make little ones to put on cards. You can make big ones to do as decorations. So they're very versatile in what you can do. And the supplies that you need are quite simple. First of all, cardstock. Now, if you're making itty bitty little flowers, smaller than these ones, you probably have scrap paper around that you can use, especially if you're only making one or two. Now, if you're making a full shadow box full, you're probably going to need to either really go into your cardstock supply, or you're going to need to buy specifically for the project. But if you're just making a couple and they're little ones, you know, these two here were a 7-inch square piece of paper. So if you have, you know, scraps, you can use them for that. Or if you're doing bigger projects, you're going to have to buy more. So you're going to need cardstock. Now, personally, I prefer a firmer cardstock. So usually about an 80-pound cardstock, because it makes them nice and firm, and they don't, you know, they don't fold in that over time. 65 would probably work too, but I wouldn't go below 65 for rolled flowers. But I think 100 is going to be too, as it won't roll well. So probably 65-pound or 80-pound, 80, 85-pound weight cardstock is going to work well for these. You're going to need a quilling pen, and I'm going to show you what a quilling pen looks like when we get to the we actually produce the product. And then you need a glue gun. And you want to use a lightweight mat. So that's all that you need to make these pretty rolled flowers. Now, I went and tried to find some free resources for you guys for the patterns for these, and I couldn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the site where I got these patterns from, and it's called designbundles.net. You can also look at places like Creative Fabrica as well, and I will put the links below the video. So we're going to go to Design Bundles right now, and I'm going to show you. So here we are in Design Bundles, and I just wanted to show you how I found the ones that I was looking for. So you go, I just typed in rolled flowers. And yes, so this is one that you're going to have to purchase. And I just scanned down. As you can see, there's lots of them for lots of different prices. Nice thing about Design Bundles is they also have a program where I think it's about, there's some different fees. I think I pay $19 a month US. And you get what they call their plus designs. You get plus credits, and they have like thousands of designs in the plus credits. And you get so many credits a month, and then you can use those credits to get like SVGs and projects. So it's been great for me. Now, one thing about Design Bundles and all these sites where you're getting, you know, your SVGs from, you want to be really careful that you read the licenses and what you can do with it. Now, if you're just making projects for yourself to give away, you can pretty well use anything, because you're not selling it, you're just making them. Now, if you're making products to sell, that's where you really have to start checking the licenses. Most of the licenses will allow you to physically make products in your home or in your store and sell them that way. You can sell them online, but you can't do print on demand. So you can't take it to a print on demand, send it to a print on demand company, have them print it and ship it. So one thing about designbundles.net is that there's an extra print on demand license. So if you want to do print on demand, you can do that by paying the extra for the permission to do it. Always make sure you check the licenses and that you can do what you want with it, because you don't want to receive a notification from a lawyer saying that, you know, you've broken the rules and the terms, and that could really throw your business into an upset. So do things the right way. Here's my recommendation. Oh, the other thing, you cannot sell these designs. So if you purchase a design on Design Bundles or Creative Fabrica, you can't then take that design and sell it. That's not commercial use. That's considered copyright infringement. So you want to, you know, if you want to sell designs, you're either going to have to make them yourself, or you're going to have to pay for someone to make you unique designs that you can sell. Anyway, it's a little off topic, but just something I wanted to make sure you guys know. So anyway, this is the package that we're going to be doing the flowers from today. So you can purchase that if you want. You're going to want to download it, and then we're going to go into Cricut, and I'm going to show you how to upload it to Cricut and cut it out. Now, if you are already very well versed in how to use your Cricut machine and how to upload files and how to cut, I've got good news for you. You do not have to watch this section of the video. If you go either below or to the side of the video, you're going to see a timestamp, and all you've got to do is just fast forward the video to that part where we actually put the project together. Because I know many times now when I'm watching a video, I just want to see how they make it. I don't need all of the upload in that. So I always want to make sure on my videos that you can fast forward past that. So now we're going to go into Cricut Design Space. I'm going to share my screen again here. All right, we are in Cricut Design Space. I've opened up a new project. You want to click here and go to Upload. And you're going to click on Upload Image. You're going to click on Browse. And in this case, because I had already uploaded it before, it brought me right to it. But we're going to upload 7 because we're going to do 7 first. And the nice thing is when you upload SVGs, you don't have to delete the background. If an SVG has been saved properly, the background's already been made transparent. So you don't have to do that extra step like you have to do with PNGs. And just click Upload. And I'm also going to upload the second image as well, because it's the same process. So Browse, and we're going to do rolled flower number 2. All right, again, it's already there. All we have to do is click Upload. So now we want to put it into our project. So we want to go here to the rolled flower. We're going to click on it. Going to come down here to where it says Insert Images. You're going to put it in. And, you know, I tend to make it 6.5. So just go up here. Make it 6.5, and that'll give you approximately 2 to 2.5 inch flower wide, depending on, you know, how tightly you wind it, how much you let it go, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So it's never exact, but it's approximately 1/3. Again, you know, it depends on how you do it yourself. So in this case, we're ready to go. Just click on Make It. Make sure that you've put your paper down on your lightweight mat, and make sure that you've got enough paper to cover this whole design. Click on Continue. Let my machine connect up. You're going to hit on a couple of different things. So if you're using like a lighter cardstock, like a 65-pound, you can use the cardstock for intricate cuts. That's generally the one I use. If I'm using my 80-pound, though, you do want to pick the 80-pound cardstock if you're using a thicker one, because sometimes your machine won't cut it properly unless you do. So in this case, I'm using an 80. I always hit More. And now at this point, what you're going to do is just take your mat, put it in the machine, hit the arrow buttons to load it. Once it's loaded, you can click on Fast Mode here if you want, and then click on the C, and it will start to cut your design. So we're going to let it do that, and then I'm going to meet you back in my craft room to put this all together. Welcome back. So I have now gone through and I have cut out both designs. I decided to do them both ahead of time because I already showed you how to upload the one. Now, something that I didn't tell you is you want to make sure that with your cardstock, you use a light grip mat. If you use a standard or strong grip, it makes it very hard to get the paper off. You can rip it, you can bend it, and then the project won't look as nice. So in this case, we just want to remove the paper. And I always recommend ripping the or pulling the mat away from the paper. And this is one of the Cricut scrapers, and I find them to be very helpful. I have the bigger one and the smaller one for different projects. So in this case, we're just going to gently just pull this away. And as we do, you're going to see you pull out the middle section there, okay, into my scrap pile there. And now you're just going to gently get it started. And it should come off relatively easy, just like that. And so this one is going to be this one if you're curious. Now the next thing you need is a quilling tool, and you can't see it very well here in the video, but a quilling tool you use to roll it with. You can, I got this kit on Amazon. There's also lots of tutorial videos if you Google it on how to make your own quilling tool. I did not find them easy. It was not easy to find these to purchase, and there wasn't a lot available. So you can either find the ones on Amazon or make your own. So in this case, I like this particular one. So I looked at both sides here, and I want the nice patterned side out. So I'm just going to, there's a slit here, and unfortunately you can't see it, but you're just going to put it into the slit like that, and you're going to start rolling it. Now, the thicker and the heavier the cardstock, the more resistant to rolling it's going to be. But I find they make prettier flowers. And they're going to kind of want to bend a little bit too. So all you're going to do is just keep rolling it along, like so. And in the beginning, it's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to have to get used to this. I've done quite a few of these now, so it's become a lot easier. And I'm actually doing it slower than I normally would, so you can see. But you want to try and keep it as tight as possible. And it is going to start rolling down and becoming uneven, especially with certain cardstocks. So you just keep rolling until you really can't anymore. You'll hit a point where you're finding it's really difficult to roll with the quiller. So I just always pull it out. I get it nice, flat, straight on the bottom. Hold it with my 2 fingers, and I just start to roll it by hand. And here's where I go, the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round, as I sit here and you watch me roll this. Now you want to make sure that your glue gun is plugged in and hot, because you want to make sure it is ready to go. And I'm going to move it here. And one thing I found that's really easy, you can get glue gun mats and all that other kind of stuff. But one thing that I have found that works really well is just a paper plate for when I do my glue gunning. And then I can just, it goes into the recycling. Now you can see here, this one is a little harder, it's tight. And you'll find that too, as you get towards the end, sometimes it is harder to roll. Especially as you get to this little point here. So now you can see that it's tightly rolled, but it doesn't quite fit this bottom piece. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it and you're just going to let it kind of roll out. Now some people just put it on the table and let it roll out. I want it controlled, so I just kind of let it do its thing. Always making sure that I keep it so it doesn't completely roll out. And again, this is something you kind of have to practice. The first couple of flowers I made were pretty disastrous. I just tend to bend that back to make it easier to get the glue on it. You want to keep it up as much as possible. So I just bend that back. And now comes the fun part, the glue gun. Now, if you've never used a glue gun before, it is very hot. That glue is very hot. My fingers can handle it, but if you have really sensitive fingers in terms of heat, you can get little silicone things that at craft shops that you put on the top of your fingers to save your fingers from the burning sensation. Like I said, I've just used a glue gun so long. Don't be afraid to be generous with the glue. You're going to have little pieces and ends, but you can remove those off afterwards. You're just going to line it up, plunk that down. You're going to want to hold it, and this is the hot part. And as you can see, you got lots of little strings. So I just pull those off. And there you go. And you can also kind of bend the petals back. Whoops. You also want to let it dry. Okay, but you can bend the petals back a bit to open them up. It's one of the reasons why I like the slightly thicker, firmer paper, because you can do that and it stays. I also could have let this go just a little bit more and made it a looser flower. So as you can see, this is the same one. This one I let go a little bit more. It was a lot looser. So you're going to find that you find what you call your gauge. In knitting and crocheting, your gauge is, how many stitches across and how many rows do you have to do to hit 4 inches. And everybody's is a little bit different. Well, it's going to be the same with your rolled flowers. You're going to kind of get used to, you'll get a gauge where you kind of get a pace that you like. And when you're doing more than one, so like in this project here, which I'm not quite done yet, so it's not finished, but in this project here, I got into a rhythm of doing them so they were all approximately around the same size. So there you go. There's your first flower for you. And they're not that hard to make. Sometimes if I'm working on a project, when I was working upstairs on this one, I was sitting at my table watching TV and rolling them while I watched. So they're not hard to do. So let's do the second one here. I'm going to pull it off the mat again. And this time I chose a nice bright yellow. Just get started here. So one other thing I want to mention is when you're doing any of these types of crafts, always make sure you have extra supplies. Sometimes, things can go wrong. When I was doing the first 2 sample ones here, I realized my blade had gone dull, so it didn't cut it properly. I didn't have the right cardstock setting and not the right pressure setting. So always make sure you have extra because things happen. And I always love to tell people about the mistakes that I've made so that you can learn from them and not make the same mistakes that I have. So we'll just bring this back here so it's nice and close for us, our glue gun. And again, I want the nice side out. So the other thing is you can also roll these outwards. Okay, so like this way. I rolled it inwards because I wanted the pretty side out. But you can also roll them outwards as well. I've done them both ways. I generally tend to roll them inwards though. So you can see here, this one's a little bit easier. It's not quite as thick of cardstock as the other one. And it's rolling quite nicely. I'm going to go a little quicker here because I've already done this before. And this pattern's a little easier to work with. So you're going to find some of them are harder than others, and you'll find the ones that you like to do. You can also play around with different colors, which is why I like doing these rolled flowers. I like keeping my fingers busy. It's actually one of the reasons why I've knitted and crocheted most of my adult life, is even when I'm relaxing, I just want something to do. And I have found that being creative and crafting, did cross stitch for a period of time, but I realized I enjoy knitting and crocheting the most because it's very rhythmic. I've got good muscle memory for it. You know, crochet projects I can do fairly quickly. And, you know, once I've got the pattern memorized, I don't have to think a lot. And usually if I'm just having downtime and wanting to relax, it's more about keeping the fingers busy than necessarily the brain busy. Though I have to admit, since getting my Cricut machine, I have been doing a lot less crocheting because I've just really fallen in love with the Cricut and how the Cricut works and the variety of projects that you're going to be able to do. And I'm looking forward over these videos to helping you with these projects. So again, I've got it rolled up and I'm just going to let it go a bit. Peel that back so I can see what I'm doing. Yes, one. I always try to keep the top layer kind of tight so that when you glue the flower it looks really nice. So again, we're going to apply a liberal amount of glue there. Tighten that down. And you don't have to worry if it doesn't cover everything across the bottom. As long as it's stuck down good, that's all that matters. And you get the glue off your fingers. Now, finish getting the glue off your fingers. And here's where you can start bending the petals back. And you can peel back as many layers as you want. Personally, I just like having a couple of layers peeled back. Give it a little bit of... And there you go. We have our 2 flowers made. And what you can do is, there are some charts, if you Google it, on approximately how big to cut it to make an approximate size flower. So there are some charts on there to find, and if I can find one, I will upload it for you guys. So anyway, this has been Kim Thompson-Pinder from Kim's Crafting Corner. Don't forget to go to https://library.kimscraftingcorner.com and sign up. Every week you get a free SVG. I'll be doing these how-to and training videos and craft project ideas. So thanks so much for joining me. We will see you on the very next episode. Bye now.